Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for uninviting my parents to my wedding after my mom said my fiancé wasn't eager to marry me and told me I can't wear white? 30F, I got engaged a few weeks ago and am incredibly excited. We actually already have a beautiful, happy, and inquisitive 4-year-old daughter together. We've been living together since my daughter was born and have been together for 7 years now, so it already feels like we're married, but we want to make it official before we start trying for our second. I met my fiancé Joey, 33M, my first year of law school. We started dating, and in the fall of my last year of law school, I found out I was pregnant. I was only 25 at the time, was getting ready to start my career, and wasn't married or engaged, so it was a terrifying experience. Luckily, Joey was supportive of me. He said he'd respect whatever decision I made and that he'd support me no matter what. His parents were terrified and definitely thought I should get an abortion when we first told them, but they were also kind and understanding. Initially, I was going to terminate the pregnancy and went to the clinic twice, but I couldn't go through with it. I come from an ultra-conservative Christian family, and my mom especially doesn't think people should have sex before marriage. My 2 older sisters got married in their early 20s and are now stay-at-home moms. I'm the only sister who graduated from college, is no longer religious, and has career goals. When I told them I was pregnant, my parents were devastated. My mom cried, called me used goods, and asked how I could allow this to happen. They said Joey and I needed to get married since we were having a child together, and I explained that we didn't want to rush into that. My mom called me selfish and said neither of us were putting our baby first. They didn't speak to me until my baby girl was born because they were so upset that I got pregnant outside of wedlock and then didn't marry Joey before the baby arrived. I see them a few times a year and they certainly love my daughter, but I'm definitely a huge disappointment to them. My future in-laws, on the other hand, were extremely kind and helpful during the pregnancy. They helped cover my medical care and even rented an apartment for me and Joey to live in after the baby was born since we didn't starting work for a few months after we graduated. While I was studying for the bar exam, Joey's mom did a ton of babysitting and was always there to help if I needed a few hours to myself. I'm so grateful to them and feel even closer to Joey's mom than to my own at this point. When we told Joey's parents about the engagement, his mom cried and said how happy she was for us and our daughter. She also said she was so proud of us because we stuck together and made the most of things when life didn't go as we planned. She offered to help with the wedding, but we said we want to pay for it ourselves. We want a very small ceremony with our immediate families, a few close friends, and our daughter. We really want it to be about celebrating our family and our little girl and don't need a huge ceremony. I told my parents the news last night since we got into town for Thanksgiving, and they didn't seem excited. My mom asked if we were having a religious ceremony, and I said no. I explained that we want a small, low-key wedding and that we're just eager to get married and make it official. My mom then turned to my fiancé and said he clearly wasn't too eager since he got me pregnant and lived with me for 4 years before asking me to marry him. Joey explained that he's known he wanted to marry me for years, but we were focused on our daughter, our careers, and getting out loans paid off and have been treading water since we graduated from school. My mom then told him that she's ruined her dreams of her daughter getting married since the event has been spoiled now that we've been living together and already have a child. She told me I can't, and conscious, wear white to my wedding since I'm not a virgin and have continued to sacrifice my purity. Typically I laugh off my mom's comments, but I started crying. I told my mom that I've tried my best in life and don't need her constant judgments. My mom said I'm clearly ashamed of my life choices and that's why I'm crying. I asked how anyone could be ashamed of my life choices when I have such a beautiful little girl. My mom said that we should have gotten married years ago for our child and that we're clearly not committed to her or each other. I told my mom that I no longer want her at my wedding because she's been nothing but cruel since I got pregnant, and I only want people who love and support us at the celebration. My dad said he wasn't going if my mom wasn't included, and I said that's fine with me. I cried myself to sleep, and Joey was furious that my mother was treating me so terribly. He also told me that he called and asked my dad's permission before he proposed, and my dad was rude. He said that he'd say no if it weren't for the fact that we have a child together. He also accused Joey of using me for sex and not stepping up for our daughter and marrying me sooner. Joey didn't want to upset me, but he thought it was relevant in light of the fact that my parents clearly aren't warming up to the situation. Needless to say, he doesn't blame me for not wanting them at the wedding, and he feels uncomfortable having them there too after all the comments they've made. This morning, I got a call from one of my older sisters. She told me I broke our mother's heart again and I'd be cruel not to include her in the wedding. She also said Mom has loved and supported me and my daughter even though she strongly disagrees with my life choices. My sister says I've made my own choices and I can't expect everyone to like and agree with them, but family is family and I should include my mother. She also said that if my parents aren't included, she won't be there either. Am I the bad person? What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for reporting my manager and getting him fired after he repeatedly made sexual comments towards me? I, 27F, work in marketing for a mid-sized tech company. I've been here for about 3 years, and it's a demanding but rewarding job. I've always felt comfortable with my coworkers until a few months ago when my manager, Dan, 40SM, started acting in ways that made me deeply uncomfortable. It started small. Dan would give me compliments that felt overly personal, like, "You've got such a magnetic presence," or, "You're the reason clients trust us, you're the total package." I brushed it off at first, thinking maybe I was reading too much into it. But the comments kept coming, and they got worse. During meetings, he'd make jokes about my appearance, like, "We should send you to the client meetings, you'd close any deal with that smile." Everyone would laugh awkwardly, and I'd just sit there, feeling exposed. I told him privately that his comments were inappropriate and made me uncomfortable, but he shrugged it off, saying, "Come on, I'm just joking, you need to lighten up." The situation escalated at a work happy hour. Dan had been drinking and was acting even more inappropriate than usual. He cornered me when I was at the bar, leaning in way too close and saying things like, "You're the kind of woman who distracts men just by walking into a room." I was already planning to leave, but before I could step away, he touched my ass. I was frozen for a second, then just mumbled something and walked away. I went home that night feeling furious and violated, but also unsure of what to do. I spent the weekend thinking about it and finally decided I couldn't stay silent anymore. That Monday, I reported everything to HR. I detailed all the comments, the physical contact, and even provided the names of people who witnessed his behavior. HR took it seriously, and after an investigation, Dan was fired. Since then, my workplace has been tense. Some coworkers have supported me, saying they're glad I stood up for myself. But others, especially those who were close to Dan, have accused me of overreacting. One person even said, "It was just a tap, and now his whole career is ruined. You could have handled it another way." I feel relieved that he's gone and that I don't have to deal with his behavior anymore, but I also feel guilty about the fallout. Dan had a family, and with the holidays coming up, I know this is going to impact them too. So, am I the bad person for reporting him and getting him fired? What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for saying no to my boyfriend when he asked to take my contraceptive pill? So, I, 22F, have been on the contraceptive pill for a while, and my boyfriend, 24M, knows this. Recently, he asked me if he could take one of my pills to help his performance. He said he read somewhere that it could make him last longer and that he thought it could work for him. I told him no, absolutely not. I explained that it's my medication, it's meant for me, and it's not safe for him to take it without knowing what could happen to his body. He got frustrated and said I was being controlling and overreacting. He also said it shouldn't matter since it's not like I need it for any health condition. I feel like I'm just trying to protect him from doing something that could be harmful, but now I feel guilty. Was I in the wrong for saying no? This is stupid to me. Am I the bad person? You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.